Good night, dear audience. Good night, dear subscribers and casual viewers. Good night, good night. So this will be a microscopic examination of 3 slides that were taken from this metal aquarium. I've just checked it a couple of days ago, and then I replenished it with a new, with more pee and a little bit of oil and beeswax, a little bit of beeswax, and also a good amount of sodium bicarbonate, and a very hefty amount of rotten chicken flavored, parve chicken flavored soup with ants and spiders and probably many germs. And also I've added all sorts of symbols to the spot. And I haven't energized it with fire or electricity. So as I've said, in such experiments you need to wait some time. In the last check, before I've added all of this, that was taken a couple of days ago, we've seen a good amount of neros, but not less than before, but still very good amount, like tremendous amount. And also what we've seen is that, that there are much more life forms than we've seen in the last couple of months in examinations from this container. And this is almost certainly because of the sodium bicarbonate that was added. And the theory, based on several experiments in other containers, that this is that it's an alternative to oxygen supply because it's a sealed container, and that the neros can use it because oxygen is almost certainly needed from experience for the neros to create life forms. It's not needed for themselves, but it's needed for the life forms. And after some time in sealed containers, you just see the life forms gradually just diminish. And the idea is that if you want to use this like steel container, maybe sodium bicarbonate, because it's actually a relatively complicated molecule. Not that somewhat complicated molecule, but it contains like 3 atoms of oxygen. That the idea is that they might be able to disassemble the molecule and use it, or maybe for any purpose. But we've seen in many in several examinations that it's actually helpful both for the neros and for the creation of new life forms, which goes to hand in hand because they eat the life forms. So we've seen quite a bit of life forms, which is nice. But now, this is like a new mixture. It's not new at all, but it's so much stuff was added. And also should be said that a lot of stuff was taken out. During the last 2 weeks or 3 weeks when I burned the beeswax, it was a tremendous amount of beeswax. It was very heavily with neros, and it was all burned. So it's kind of like a new thing. But as I said, you should wait a couple of weeks before you take examination of such thing. But I'm getting a lot of requests from the audience, and I am willing to with things that are related to science. I'm fine with going with the audience, with the scientific audience that they think that it's of value to check now. So I've taken 3 samples. I'm certain that we will see something more interesting in a month or so, but it's not that big of a deal to take 3 samples and to do examination, so let's do it now. Also should be said, should be reminded that unlike in other containers that we had in the past that were used in the with the big, relatively big amount of juice. This is it's now it's the only container that I have besides scraps because I burned or thrown to the garbage everything. But this is the one left, but it's also the biggest by far. But unlike in other times that that we just use this mixture since April in all sorts of variations, now it contains a very big magnet on the bottom of this pool, and this is it's of great significance. But it was discussed. I don't want to get into it. It was discussed in the past. The problem of magnetism with regards to life forms, but also the advantage that the neros are actually deriving from swimming inside a relatively strong magnetic field. So I mean, it probably both contribute. I mean, and like I mean, damages like the creation of life forms. But as I said, this is an ecology, and it's not unheard of. Like in, I mean, it's an understatement. I mean, it's actually. I mean, this is a characteristics of ecology, like the science of ecology. That I mean, it's difficult like, to isolate forces, and many times you intentionally create an ecology with conflicting forces. By the way, it looks like that. Yes, it's creepy. I mean, it's going to be difficult to find something that is not creepy in this room. I'm the alien robot creep. I mean, yes, I mean, that's my thing. I mean, I came from the planet of liquid sky and alien creeps. We are all creeps. We are all sitting all the time in dark rooms with creepy paintings that we painted ourselves, and we listen to the music of like, I mean, like in the best day, it's like just the soundtrack of the Clockwork Orange, and just I mean, in less successful days, it's just I mean, all sort of like squeaks, like you know, of kind of what sort of like I mean, like the most disharmonic parts of the Firebeard, or even worse than that, like things of like Bartok that are completely like insane. I mean, that's what we do. That's what the creepy aliens are doing. I mean, as opposed to you humans that are so normal. Like, look at all those creeps like in the apartment. I mean, every exemplar is like, I mean, like the epitome of normality. The epitome of normality. Okay, so let's start. Another problem is that the microscope is actually, I mean, should be like repaired. It's not in a good condition, so we'll mostly use like the 64 magnification, which is it's like the one that works the best, but it's also the ones they mostly use the most. Because it's the most convenient to me. But maybe we'll try to zoom in, use like higher magnification. We'll see if it works. Just a second, I need to clean it a little bit. Just, I mean, there's something that is very dirty here. You use the chain, it's like the neighbor in this hostel. I mean, of course, Shabak Creep is kind of new here, like maybe 2 weeks, and he's like his favorite prop is like a huge chain that he's always like a ghost, from like from European stories that I mean they carry chains in the house mostly during the night in order to scare you. So I mean it's like this is his thing. He has like a huge chain that he carries with him, and it always like he likes. I mean, and he's like right next to my door, so I mean I always hear this chain sounds. It's like I mean it's just like I mean this is like literally like I mean the ghost. The Canterville ghost, like of what's his name, Oscar Wilde. This is it. Like I mean, like you arrive like in a place and it's like with a ghost that I mean it is like totally retarded. Like I mean. And that's so everybody's like that. So there is like the one that is always like whenever I go to the kitchen, like in his door is like next to the kitchen, he's left like immediately like like that. And there is the one with the chain and the one that plays the creepy music. And I mean, but the robot is the creep. That I mean it's difficult to explain how he behaves. I mean maybe it's something to do with the robotic mind, the robotic psychology, because the Shabak cell that is surrounds me, they are all perfectly normal, and they manifest normal human behavior. The chain person, the crazy lefter person, the creepy music person. Of course, and the violent thug that always walk naked. Like every specimen of humanity that I see around me is so normal. It's only the robot that is supposedly insane because he came from the planet of the crazy robots, the planet of the crazy robots.